Hey, what's up YouTube? Good morning. If you're new here, my name is Spencer Berke. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to go over an issue that I've had with my E92 M3 for roughly the last 3 or 4 weeks. I had this problem before, but I never ended up fixing it. This E92 just started acting up. So what you can see right now is I'm actually idling currently at about 500 to 600 RPM. And you can't tell, but my car is shaking a good amount. There's a good amount of vibration happening in the car, and it feels not normal. It gets pretty bad sometimes when I fill up the car all the way, it'll actually stall out. So right now I have less than a quarter tank. I'm actually at the pump right now. I'm gonna use pump gas at Shell 91, and I'm gonna fill it up all the way to show you guys what happens when I do it, because if you think this is bad, or if I do, then wait till you see what happens when the car gets completely filled up, and it's getting even worse right now. All right, so I just filled it up all the way. I'm gonna start the car up real quick, see where it's at. So full tank. I'm actually gonna go pull around the parking lot and just let it sit for just a couple seconds to show you guys what happens. So now I feel the car starting to shake a little bit more. RPMs are kind of changing a little bit. Can definitely feel the car doesn't feel too normal. There it goes. Now I can feel like the RPMs are dropping from like 600 to 500, up and down. It's not consistent. So you guys can see it's subtle here, and then typically what'll happen is that when I go to a stoplight, it'll get really, really bad. So it's kind of jumping up and down right now, and like I said, I just literally topped it off to the highest point I could go. I don't ever go over the limit. I just typically always just let the pump stop when it's done. My foot is literally just on the brake and that's it. Alright, now the car is starting to definitely feel weird. There's weird vibrations throughout the whole car. And you can see the RPMs are changing just a tad. So we're over here at Precision Dynamics, and we're gonna film some stuff on my car. So we have the plenum, or the intake manifold off,
and then the intake air box as well.
Okay.
So take off those two things. Relatively easy. There's just a 10mm here and here. Intake box comes out. Down here for this, there's just these 6mm clamps. Then there's this hose back here, and then it pops off. Now we can actually access the fuel breather valve, which is here.
So this is the fuel breather valve right there. Yeah. Explain why these go out and symptoms.
So how it works is, I'll just open this up for you. This is our new one that we got for you, made by Bosch. Now how it works is it's literally just a electronic valve. All it does is actuates it to open and close it. The design of this is very simple. It's going to allow it to open, supply vacuum to your fuel tank, just in case of like evap, things like that, emission relationship stuff. Now this over time does wear down, just like any other electronics, because this is electronic and mechanical at the same time. Eventually they get stuck opened. They never fail closed, ever. Any actuators always fail open, just so that it doesn't cause any real damages or any issues. So they're designed to stay open if it fails. So how it works is, now you got this end of this hose, which goes to the vacuum pump on the back right here. This allows it to supply vacuum, but this also connects to your intake plenum or actuators for your throttle. So essentially your throttle bodies or ITBs, individual throttle bodies, which is on these cars. Then if it gets stuck opened, it's going to suck in air through the backside of the charcoal canister, but that's going to give your car a lean condition, because any type of leak after your map sensor, which is on the intake, it's going to be unmetered air. Any unmetered air on any car with map sensors will automatically think that it's lean. And when it goes lean, it causes idle issues because it's trying to compensate for it, but it can't compensate because after the sensor, so it can't measure that.
So that's the symptoms I had at a stoplight, is where when I would fill up, my RPMs would go up and down, up and down. And I tried to get it on video this morning, but I just couldn't get it to repeat itself. So it's not always there, but it's like sporadic.
Yeah. It's periodic, just based on how much fuel or condition or how much load you're applying, if it's cold, if it's hot, everything comes into play.
Inside of this, what part actually goes bad? Like, how does it fail?
So there's a diaphragm inside of here that opens and closes it, but there's electronic components inside of here that controls it. But it's the mechanical side of it and the electronic side. So the electronic side usually fails, it loses connection, or it gets burnt because it uses a magnetic coil to kind of generate it to open it and close it. That's all.
And that fails?
It fails.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to replace this, there are 2 clips on it. There's this one, and then we got the one in the back. So we're gonna pop this off, unplug the sensor, or the connector to be exact. And then there's going to be a clip on the back side. Now there's 2 ways to take this off. I prefer to just use cutters. You can use a flathead as well. So we would actually just get right behind here. And once we get behind here, we can actually just clamp this on, because we're gonna replace this clamp anyways. The goal is to actually lift this up above it, like that, and we're gonna grab it, and then just twist it, and it comes off. And then we just grab this off, pull that off, and then that's off. These are one-time use. These holes are usually on here pretty tight. You can just grab it by hand, twist it off. I'm gonna grab some pliers that are specific for this.
The question I do have for you is, do you think a lot of people in the comments will say it's actually your idle control valve that's giving you that problem?
Highly unlikely, because if it's based on your fuel level and condition, if you fill it up, that's going to be this usually.
Okay.
Now, idle air control valve would be at all times. Usually when that fails and gets dirty, it's going to cause idle issues regardless of how much fuel you have, or if you fill up, or whatever it may be. They rarely ever fail.
Yeah.
And when they do, it's like $2,500. Okay?
Oh, geez. So that's a big one then.
Yeah.
So this is most likely the first thing that would happen if you have idle problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually this, or you have a vacuum leak anywhere after the intake. So like there's actually a little boot that goes inside to your intake manifold. Sometimes that leaks, or somebody puts on the clamp but they didn't clamp it on properly. Then that will cause the same thing. So it'll be lean condition as well. Okay. So it'll cause idle issues. Or even like somebody removed your intake manifold before and didn't get these on properly.
Okay, so there's a lot of things that can happen.
Yeah.
But as far as the E90X or the S65, the first thing you'd want to check is the fuel breather valve.
Yeah, test this first. I mean, here's the thing. You can test this to see if it is bad, but you're already here. You already got to this point. You might as well just replace it because it's going to fail anyways.
It's bound to happen.
It's bound to happen. Okay. So you're already all the way in here. Might as well just replace the $60 part.
That makes
prevent
sense.
it anyways.
And what tool is that?
This is actually a hose clamp tool. So this is actually going to be pliers that clips on and circular, clamps it around it. I gotta grab a smaller one, but it goes around it, and we clamp it on there and just twist it, and it'll break it loose. We're gonna get this hose off right here, pull this one off, and once we get this one off, we go to the opposing side of it, and we're gonna grab this. It's actually just slipped on, so we pull it off, and then the back side right here, I already got this off, but you just squeeze these 2 right here, and it releases from here. So there's one up top, one on the bottom. Squeeze the 2 together and pull it out.
Now, can you see anything visually as far as these 2?
Not really. I mean, we could test this right now. So if we actually measure resistance, let me get the voltmeter. You can test by touching the 2 prongs inside of here. For these sensors, is usually, sit on there. So it's 16.4, right? Now we're gonna test the new one. This is how we're gonna determine if it's like a wire issue. So 16.2. This one was what, 16.4? So 16.5. So it has more resistance, but not significant. So
What does this test do exactly?
This is going to test if the electronics are damaged. 16.3. So electronics is good. Okay. Now we can look inside of here, kinda. So inside of here, it's really hard to see inside of here, but if you actually look inside of here, this one's pink, and it's all the way up. And then if you look at this one, brown, black, that's gonna cause issues too. Because it is going to be a diaphragm with a rubber seal inside of there. If there's a lot of dirt on it, it might not be sitting down properly and fully sealing it up. So that could be another failure. It could be electronic failure, it could be just dirty inside of there. I'm gonna replace this, but we can actually probably just break this apart and take a look.
So that's the inside of the fuel breather valve.
Yep, just like this. So there's this little gasket right here. It pushes it in and up and down.
And
See that?
that's what wore out?
There's very little movement, but that's all it takes. So it'll pull it out, opens it, lets go, closes it. That's how it seals it. But you can see that there's a lot of buildup, carbon buildup, passing through. And this can cause an issue, being just too dirty. I told you about the magnetic coil. It takes the energy and actually has coils in that side of here. And that's going to cause a magnetic field to pull it up and down. So there's actually wires, copper wires inside of here. Another test is to smell it.
How's it smell?
Well, usually when electronics fail, it smells like burnt wires. You know that smell?
Yeah.
That's how you smell alternators too. I'm serious.
That's a secret test?
Yeah, they're like, oh, is your alternator good? Is it fried? You just
The sniff test?
burnt.
So that's what you get on the inside of a fuel breather valve.
Now reinstall, we're going to get the backside slid on like this. Slide it onto this little bracket. We get to right here. And then get it back. Then we're going to push this one back on and pull it back to make sure it doesn't pop off. See that? And it's good. It doesn't pop off. We're gonna get this connector back on. This, and now I gotta get a little hose clamp. Push this back in. Twist it. That's the trick. Twist and push. Tighten. That's it. Don't go too tight.
Then we have it back in, the new one. The RPM should sit normally.
Should sit normal, idle perfectly fine.
Okay.
We're still gonna change out your spark plugs too. Make sure this is in. So here's the trick, guys. What you wanna do is look at this area. Make sure that these two are even from here to here in the bar. That's how I know if it's actually fully down.
Okay.
Now don't be afraid. Literally when you get it on here, put your whole body weight on it, just push it down. Nothing's gonna happen, but once you get to that point, you can tighten it. The trick is to use a very long extension, swivel, and a 6mm. Once you get these three things together, you can actually go right under here and access every single one of them.
That makes life 10 times easier.
Maybe 100.
It seems like it. That's a really good tool to have.
You don't have to do that tight.
You just told me like 10 different things. So I have a new gasket on my car.
Yeah, someone's already replaced your valve cover gasket already.
Okay.
And then you have new coils as well. So somebody's replaced this before.
And then my spark plugs are worn out.
Spark plugs are worn.
So we're gonna replace spark plugs right now?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Super easy. All it is you got a spark plug tool. I like to get one of these with a built-in extension and wobble to it. It's a 5/8 socket and it's magnetic as well. So you can buy it on Amazon.
So I don't lose anything.
Yeah.
Cool.
It actually sticks right in.
That's convenient.
So you just go inside of here, pop off the coils. There's just covers here. And then the other side, you gotta take off the coolant reservoir tank, which is just one bolt right here and another bolt right here. We can lift that up and then we can pull this out.
So in this video, I'm gonna have to hold you to a promise you have to make to me.
Yeah.
Is that if people wanna know in exact detail how to do their coils or how to do their spark plugs, they can go to your YouTube channel to watch a video that you have coming out soon.
Yes.
So I'm gonna link that below.
Yep.
And you have to make a video of how to do spark plugs on an E90X or a 65.
Right, let's do it.
All right, these are brand new
And GKs.
GK spark plugs.
You don't gap them.
Okay. And GAPA means to spread out
The clearance. So
Okay.
on these cars, there's actually two ends that are going to be a ground post. One here, one here. So you can't gap it. Only on like ones with a single.
And will I notice a difference in my car?
You will.
Okay.
Increased MPG as well as performance.
So when I bought my car, just a quick note, it was giving me 13 miles per gallon.
Yeah.
My supercharged E90, it was giving me 16 miles per gallon.
This is probably the main issue, plus your fuel breather valves as well.
Okay.
So now we'll show this one first, the worn down one. What you're looking at is going to be this head right here. It's like an oval. You see that?
Yeah.
Versus that.
So you can see it's clearly worn down.
So it's supposed to be circular like that. This is worn.
Yeah, so it'll make a big difference then.
Big difference.
Cool.
And you actually look at it like this too. You can see the head of it actually tapering inwards because it's getting worn. Never seen snow.
It's actually been about a week since I replaced the fuel breather valve, and I can tell you right now, my car is much better. I've driven the car for a couple days, I've let it sit, I've filled it up. It's been fine. I've had no major issues with it. You can see now the car's actually warming up, but I haven't had any idle issues. I've filled up the car again and I drove to San Diego, which was about an hour away, and it's been good. I've had no issues with it. One thing too to keep in mind, I actually forgot, this car needs motor mounts. I'm doing the rod bearing soon, so we're gonna replace the motor mounts, so that's where I feel a lot of the vibration from. Mostly the idle issue is from the fuel breather valve. So as Mike said in the video, you can watch it again. He explained everything. It made a lot of sense to me. I've had no issues since then. I have turned the AC on and off and tried a couple things. Haven't really noticed a huge difference, but I definitely can tell you the car needs motor mounts. So big shout out to Mike. Thank you for helping me with that and installing that part. If you guys have any issues with your car, feel free to message Mike and pressure him to make a YouTube channel. He has a lot of potential there, and that's just one video from me. I can't imagine him explaining more videos on a consistent basis. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.